Hey guys! So Patrick's out of town again and the kids are asleep. Finally, Presley threw up this morning and I did like a vlog today because Aiden had a field trip, so I kind of talked about it in that. And she's just been so fussy tonight, and I wanted to hold her like a lot longer to make sure that she stayed up and wasn't going to get sick if I laid her down. So being more cautious than I normally am when I put her to bed, because I just broke my heart so much throughout this morning. But the kids are asleep. I have a minute, literally like a minute, but I wanted to go ahead and film a video. I look tired. I'm a hot mess, you guys. Like, it's been a very long day, and I don't even know where I put my glass of wine at this point in time. I'm so tired. But between the kids and work, and this is kind of the only time I had to film, and I really enjoy filming, so bad lighting and tired me is kind of what you're gonna get. But today I want to talk about baby's reflux, how to tell if your baby has reflux, what I did with my baby with reflux, and how she was an infant when she was about a week and a half, 2 weeks old, I think. I'll have to go back and look at the blogs, but she, I believe, was like a week and a half, 2 weeks old when I started being like, okay, she has reflux problems. And yeah, because you're going for a 2-week checkup, and ours ended up being 3 weeks, and we were in Callaway, and I was like, okay, this is for sure reflux. And I did some like research on it and stuff. So a lot of reflux gets confused with colic. So what I have learned, and disclaimer, I'm going to go ahead and say I am not a doctor. I am not a pediatrician. I am not anything like that. So these are just what I've learned, my own opinions, my own my own life with my own baby and how things have gone. So this is my own perspective with my baby, and I have hair in my face, I'm sorry, with my baby and our life and how it's gone. So I'm just giving you my opinion and my perspective on reflux. So there's probably a lot of things that I don't say or do correctly in this. I really have done my research though, so I'm pretty confident in coming on here and telling you certain things. But again, I'm not a doctor, so please take what I say, knowing that maybe you need to consult with your doctor first, because I'm not diagnosing your baby. I just want to make sure that's clear. But so about a week and a half. So reflux often gets confused with colic, and I have learned that. So what I've learned about colic is colic happens the same time every day. So a lot of people I've heard say like, my baby's colic, or I had a colic baby, they were just fussy all the time. Could be reflux, and they just misdiagnosed it themselves, or the doctor did, because that often happens too. My pediatrician did tell me that they kind of get misconstrued sometimes. So how I knew it was reflux was it was happening all the time, and I would put her to my boob and she'd start feeding, and she would go make this gagging sound. Y'all have heard me make like y'all have heard me make that before. And then at nighttime, never failed, witching hour, she would just be in pain, being like and then it started being not only nighttime and during the day too. Nighttime's when it was like really bad, but every once in a while she still gets that way. She gets fussy nighttime, so her witching hours still. But the and the has stopped. So that right there was telling me, and she was spitting up quite often, and she got the hiccups every time we put her down. So once I looked up the symptoms and started reading and doing my research, it all lined up to be reflux. Often these things can be confused with a milk allergy as well, so I was tossing up between like a milk allergy, protein deficiency, and reflux. But everything really led to reflux, the way the gagging was, the way feeding hurt. She wasn't having trouble going to the bathroom. Like, she wasn't having trouble peeing or pooping. The poop wasn't anything different. My son has a milk allergy, and although he was formula fed, so the poop is different from formula fed, but his stomach would always hurt him, and it was a different kind of pain than the reflux. With the milk allergy, it's almost like he had trouble going or went too often. It kind of just depended, and I have a milk allergy as well. Not very severe. Me and my son, neither of us are severe. We can have like pizza and ice cream, but if we have pizza, ice cream, and fettuccine alfredo, like, we're in trouble. So I was worried about a milk allergy with her, but everything led up to reflux. The hiccups, the gagging, the hurting when she feeds, the spitting up, and like when you put her down, she would make a gagging noise even if she wasn't feeding, like this choking sound, and like trying to clear her throat because that reflux was coming back up here and bothering her. So I diagnosed really early, or I noticed really early, that she was a reflux baby. So when I went into our 3-week checkup, which is your 2-week checkup, but ours ended up being 3 weeks because we had a vacation because it was around Christmas time. And I said, listen, I think she has reflux. I told her symptoms. She says, it sounds like it. We're going to give you medicine. And she said either the medicine works or it makes it worse. And I was like, oh, well, okay. So we need to pay attention. So the medicine they give is just in a bottle, and you get 0.3, and they increase the dosage with your weight. Not immediately did things start getting better. It did take a little time. And before we were put on medicine, I started holding her upright for at least 30 minutes before I laid her down, and then I tried to lay her down at an angle. I don't know if my son is talking in his sleep or if she is fussing, so let me go check. Hold on. So that's not creepy at all. My son is talking in his sleep. I don't like that, especially since I'm home alone and Patrick's not here during the weeks most of the time. Good thing we have an alarm on our house. We have cameras, we have an alarm, so I feel a lot safer, but very creepy. So back to what I was saying, we were holding her upright, and the Boppy Lounger helps so much because it holds them at an angle. I let her sleep in that during the day, but I did not let her sleep in that at night. At night it was a Boppy, and I just put a blanket under it. I still have it now. I put a blanket under it to kind of elevate her a little bit, and that's what she sleeps in currently, inside a cradle. And it seems to be working really well. They just need to be held upright a little longer, burping really well, and less more frequent feedings. So not as much fed in one feeding, but more often. Does that make sense? Let me see if I can explain that better. It's late, you guys. It's really late. It's like 10 o'clock. I'm really tired. And I get up at 6, and she had me up at 5, so I'm very tired. And she had me up at 2. We have a sleep regression thing going right now, and like I said, she's not feeling the greatest. So instead of like feeding for 10 minutes every hour and a half, feed for like 5 minutes every hour or something like that. I just kept her feeding smaller until she was able to hold things down better, and that seemed to help a lot. It has always excelled in her weight, so what I have done has not hurt because we are feeding more often, just smaller feedings, but more often. Even now we still do that. She still feeds about every 2 hours, and she is 3 months old. So I hear a lot of people say that their baby feeds for like 20 minutes or 20 minutes on one side, or like a half an hour total feeding. No, we're not like that. She'll do like a good solid 10 minutes most feedings, and that includes both boobs if I get both in, or mostly just one. And she'll do it every hour and a half or 2 hours. It's pretty much every 2 hours, like clockwork. She's hungry again. And yes, it's more work, but it is better for her right now because of the reflux, and I'm going to just do what's best for her right now. So if your baby is showing these symptoms, stuff that you can try before the doctors is holding them upright for at least a half an hour after feeding, and then make it smaller feedings more often. So those are two really, really, really important things. Another thing is you can start watching your diet. Milk does cause more reflux. You have to watch foods with acid in them. So you don't want an acidic diet. You want like more of an alkaline diet, which is healthier for you anyways. But so watch your acidic foods, stuff like that. Nothing spicy. That makes it worse as well. Yeah, these are just things I've kind of learned along the way. She has gotten so much better. So we did our first bottle of medicine, and I have mentioned this prior. The bottle ran out, and I stopped to make sure she wasn't growing out of the reflux, and she really did need the reflux medicine, and it wasn't just like a phase in the beginning because she was so young. Immediately that choking sound came right back, and spit ups were more frequent, so that told me right there she definitely needed that reflux medicine. It really was helping, so we went right back on it. My plan is every time the bottle runs out to just kind of go a day or two without it, just to test her again to make sure she hasn't grown out of it, because they can grow out of it quickly, or it might take up to a year is what I heard. Hopefully quickly more than anything, but I don't want to have her on medicine if I don't have to, so I will test that out. There's a couple other things I want to talk about. So yes, so here it is. Here's the ugly truth about reflux. So I kind of went over my baby with reflux, how to tell if your baby has reflux. Well, here's the ugly truth about reflux. Y'all, it sucks. It really does. It sucks for the baby. It sucks for you because it makes your life a little harder. I can't feed her and put her down. I can't feed her and put her straight down for a nap. I can't feed her and let her go do tummy time or play. I can't feed her and just kind of let her do what she wants, and it's frustrating, and it kind of stinks, especially the nighttime feeding, you guys. The nighttime feeding is the worst because they feed more often, because she was, until the last 3 nights, she was sleeping through the night every 10 to 11 hours. Babies go through so many stages, so she is doing a sleep regression stage, but we're working our way back up to it, and like I said, she's not feeling really well, so I think that has something to do with it too. Or she is growing, so she's wanting to feed in the middle of the night. But yes, it's that nighttime feeding, they feed more, and then they kind of fall asleep feeding. They kind of fall asleep in your arms, or they don't fall asleep in the main thing that you really want to do, or what the goal to do is to keep them drowsy after that nighttime feeding. Lay them down and let them soothe themselves to sleep. Well, I can't lay her down. So soothing herself to sleep, she has trouble understanding that. So the nighttime feeding, but the plus side about it is I get my loving in because I have to, and I really do enjoy like those nighttime cuddles. But it was rough in the beginning when she was still getting used to her medicine, and she was hard to put to sleep. She would just be in pain after feeding. So that really, it really breaks your heart. But if you just like work through that, it does get better. But how I have fixed kind of the letting your child soothe themselves to sleep is we do what's called feed, play, sleep. My friend told me about this. I have seen it in multiple places now, like so many places. I've heard it on videos. So it's really the way to go. At least in my mind, I think it works really well. But also in my mind, don't hold them to such a strict schedule that it drives you nuts. Like just, they're going to sleep, play, and eat anyways. If they want to do it in their own order, kind of let it happen, because I was trying to do a schedule and it just wasn't working for us, y'all. I was trying to keep her awake, and finally I was like, you know what, I'm just going to let her sleep and I'll wake up in the night. I'm just going to let her go. is she ended up starting to sleep through the night. I'm going to make a whole video on how to naturally get your baby to sleep through the night, because there were things I did once I saw certain signs, and I did mention that, that I'm going to do that. And I'm doing a must-haves video. It's just taking a while. Like I said, my life is crazy. But what I have been doing to help with the soothing to sleep, the eat, play, sleep helps because they eat and then they're awake for a little bit. That only works for nighttime or for daytime for me. And sometimes she goes right to sleep once I feed her and then I let her. But ideally, to let her play for a little bit, it settles her stomach and her reflux, so then I am during the day for nap times and able to put her down and let her soothe herself to sleep. And at that point in time, I just give her a passy and I let her fuss a little bit. If she starts crying, I go in there, I'll fix the passy, I'll rub her head, and I'll leave again. I try not to pick her up. So that is teaching her how to soothe herself without me having to worry about my night times where I have to hold her to get her to go to sleep. But that's kind of like how it's been going. That's a little bit, I don't want this video to be too long. I feel like my videos are so long. But that is my baby with reflux, symptoms, how to tell if your baby has reflux. But again, talk to your pediatrician. But I recommend trying these tips, see if it starts helping. If you're having trouble diagnosing, or you just want to see, or you're maybe a little worried but you don't want to act like you're overreacting, because often as a new parent you feel like you overreact about everything, and you know what, who cares? It's your baby. Do what makes you feel happy and makes you feel safe. But if it helps to try something first before you call the doctor, then give those tips a try. That's just so far about my reflux baby, and other than that, like that's the only difference. That's the only changes. She's a perfect baby other than that, and she's a normal baby other than that. It's just a few things that you have to change or alter to make her feel better. So I hope that helped you guys. Until my next video, bye!